Hey guys, Courtney Mermaid here, and welcome to, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but the final video of this particular tail making series. I can't believe we're there. I can't believe that this is actually almost over. I've been filming, I filmed another part earlier today, so if I look like I'm wearing the exact same thing, it's because I'm not. It's just the same day, which is why I still sound sick, so I'm not sick again. This is the same day as that last video. Anyways, if you didn't see the last video, it was all about sequins and gluing sequins to your mermaid tail, so I'll include the link to that video in the description below. Make sure you check it out if you have not, because there's some good information in there. Whew, sorry, I'm really like, meh, but this is like my only few minutes to do this, so I want to film this. Otherwise, there's not going to be any videos, and it's just going to explode all over the place. And my beautiful schedule will just be doomed. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about the little extra touches, the little extra details. So for this, I'm going to show you guys how I get those cool little texture dots on my tail, and I will show you what those look like. I'm going to actually show you from the beginning to now so that you can see actually how they age as well. So this was my second painted tail ever. This is Miranda, for those of you who don't know. Yes, I named her Miranda. What are you gonna do? There's a story behind that, but anyways. You can actually see, so what we're looking at, and I wish that the lighting was a little bit better, but you see these really tiny little dots. Yeah, they're just not the sequins, guys, but the really itty bitty little sparkly little dotties. Okay, so that's how well they've held up. You can see them a bit more here. So you can see them a bit here, okay? So that's how well they've held. This tail is 6... Oh my gosh, you were 6 years old. Oh my baby. I didn't have like a birthday for you. Okay, so 6 years old is this tail. And now Bluefish isn't as old. I actually don't... 2014, so 2 years old. Are you only 2 years old? My goodness. Why do I feel like I've had this tail forever? This is my dry land monofin. I'm going to be doing a tutorial to show you guys how to make these. It's very cool. Yeah, so you can see there's actually two different kinds of dotties. One's actual just regular paint, and then the texturies, like this little rough looking stuff, that is another cool little trick. So you can kind of see, it just adds a little bit of texture. So that's on a 2-year-old tail. And then on Goldfish, there's just one. She's just this many. On Goldfish, I didn't use them as much. I used them much more sparingly on her. But the way that I did use them was just very subtle. Now, you can't totally see it on here. There, you can see it a little bit. But what it does is it just adds a little bit of extra texture and a little bit of extra life and like dimension. It also just, it kind of looks like, you know how some creatures, they're under the sea, they live down there, like some whales and stuff, and they'll get like little barnacles or little bits of life kind of like growing on them. So that was kind of my thought when I started adding those. I thought it added just a little bit of extra dimension because it's much smaller than a sequin, so you're kind of left, like, people are left like, oh, how did she do that? Like, what is that? So I wanted to show you guys how to make that little effect. I just put her away. Okay, so how I do that, how I make those little dotties, is using a product called Tulip. And it's called Tulip Dimensional Fabric Paint. Wow, I've never actually read that. This is kind of a cool story. I'm going to go just for a second here, because hopefully you guys are here to see a little bit of me too. My grandma used to use this brand, something very similar to this, to make beautiful designs on these really cool hats. My grandma used to be a seamstress. She used to sew for a living, and she used to make these really cool, really funky hats, and she used to use these to make really cool designs on them. So when I was originally looking for how to make, like, put extra details on my mermaid tail, I was like, oh, I remember doing something. And I went to Michael's and I picked up some of these guys. So they come in a variety of styles and colors. the kind that I first got, and these are the 3 originals that I used on Miranda, so these are really old now. But you can see how long they've lasted me, right? I made Bluefish with this, I made Miranda 2.0, this is Miranda 3.0. I did Goldfish. I think there's one more tail in there somewhere. I also made a bunch of kids' tails using these, so these little tubes are a good investment. So these are the colors that I'm going to use for this tail. You can see, they kind of just squirt out. They have just like a little nib, just like this. You do have to shake the living daylights out of them, and I mean like the living daylights. Like, you need to, you gotta go, because it separates, right? And so if you put it on here, you're gonna have to wipe off all the clear liquid glue that comes out first, and it's gross, so don't do that. But yeah, use it sparingly. Don't use it and really, don't be like, ooh, I'm gonna make all my scales with this really cool puff paint, because this stuff in large amounts will just peel right off. It'll peel right off, it'll make a mess. It doesn't hold up as well as other things. It does hold up a lot better than sequins, so that's something to think about. I usually put it in areas, I put it more in areas that get damaged faster to kind of reinforce them a little bit. So I'll put extra dots like behind my heels or around my knees or around my waist or around the base of my fluke. This is all still drying. I have my tail sitting here with like freshly glued down sequins, but I really wanted to film this just because I wanted to get it out and done. Just because life is just getting in the way, and I want to take an opportunity to finish filming all of this so that it doesn't go and spill over into another year. Because I'm sure you guys would like that, wouldn't you? Anyways, it comes in a variety. So I like the crystal ones because they're sparkly, and the sparkle is actually something that you can see. It's not just the color that comes out, because you can see it actually has sparkles. I gotta get a better camera, guys. I'm saving up. I am. It has sparkles, and the sparkles do actually show through. The clear one, it's called Icicle. It looks white, obviously, but when it dries, it actually dries a bit clear. Now, about all of this, here's your most important thing to note. If you are a professional mermaid and you're doing this for more than 3 hours in the water at a time, which I don't know why you would do that, you're crazy. I've had to do that where I had 2 gigs back to back, and it ended up being a total of almost 4 hours in the water. Don't do that. Don't. In the same cold, wet tail. No. The biggest no that ever noped, okay? This stuff will, okay, for like an hour you're fine. But after that, it'll start to soften. And even though this will dry clear, it'll start to turn white again the longer it stays in the water. It also means that the stuff could smear and or peel off. Now, I'm making this sound awful, but I've used this on every single one of my tails and never had a problem. The only time I noticed it was at that gig, and I got out of the water and I was like, ooh, this isn't good. Stuff is getting soft. So that's why you gotta use it sparingly. Use it sparingly and try and use colors that blend in with the other areas. They have a really good selection of colors. Like, Michaels has an entire wall. I kid you not, the Michaels by me has an entire wall. And for those of you who might not be in Canada who don't know what Michaels is just like an all-purpose like craft store, a huge craft store. I'm not sure what in the States. If you guys are in different countries and you know, if you could please leave them in the description below so that other people might have an idea of where to go. I can't think of any other craft stores offhand that might be more universal than Michaels. But yeah, so these are the thing, guys. These are also fun if you have a fabric tail already that, you know, needs a little bit of spicing up. You know, it's a little something, but sparingly, guys, sparingly. So for the clear, I will use the clear on something this color. I know you're thinking, what? But it does actually look cool. And if I could just, for a second. So I actually did use it. See? All along here and all along the edge, and it just blends. It actually, ooh, I wish I could show you better. It does actually blend nicely in with the color that's there. So just something to think about, right? They also have a glow in the dark one. It does glow a little bit. Would I buy it again? Probably not. It was just something I was trying out. I was like, oh, I wonder if I could make this work. For the amount that you'd have to put down for it to actually show, it's just not going to work for a mermaid tail that needs to get wet. So I wouldn't recommend the glow-in-the-dark ones. This was just a plain knot, so this one's called Slick. I don't know why they had to give them such weird lids for these ones. Like, seriously, guys? I guess it's supposed to be like a tulip, like the flower. I'm like, okay, it's not a flower. I'm aware of this now. So that's the difference. Not a difference. One has sparkles and one does not. I used this also on goldfish, and it looks cool. Doesn't look like bad not having sparkles in it, so it's totally up to you. They aren't super expensive. I wish off the top of my head I could remember what. I got these ones in a pack, so they came with purple, blue, green, white, yellow, and pink, and I bought them in a pack, and it wasn't outrageous at the time. So, and I say that because I was working at a really crappy part-time job where I was making like no money, and they wouldn't let me be full-time, and that was nice. So, that's how I know. If I was able to afford it then, you know, there you go. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how much is too much, and I'm going to just do a quick flyby to show you that. Then I'm also, actually, is that it? Yeah, I was also going to show you guys how to cut up the fringe. There isn't a lot to know for that. We'll see how brave I'm feeling. All right, here we go. Oh, also for these, there is no odor, there is no smell. Just saying, they don't smell bad. They're not disgusting like the E6000. Okay, can you actually see anything? I hope you can see. Okay, so I'm going to use the green, I think. Yes, so they also dry a great deal darker. Sorry, you do actually have to shake these like crazy. I'm not trying to be cool or something. I don't know what you think, but... have a paper towel handy, so here you can see I actually did a good job. And it will dry a little bit darker than what you see over there. So you're not going to really be able to see this very clearly on here. I apologize for that. I'm going to do the best that I can, but just dots. It's literally just little dotties. And that's all there is to it. So I'm using the littlest amount of pressure, and you see that tip right there? That's all the glue you want, because if you use more than that, you are going to hate yourself, and then you're going to email me and be like, Courtney, how do I fix it? And then I'm going to just be like, why didn't you pay attention? You know, come down a little bit, maybe have it like kind of trickling down, you know, just be gently squeezing it just a little bit at a time. Remember, less is more. If you do need to put more on, you can, but you can't really get it off. So, you know, a little bit like that. You know, if you do think, oh crap, it does actually lift right off. So while you're working, if you're like, whoops, I shouldn't have put that there, you can actually get it off. So see, now it's pushing too much out. So always keep your paper towel handy to make quick little fixes where you need to. And try to remember where you've put glue so you don't accidentally smear the whole gosh darn thing. Good, so that's what I wanted to do there. I'm going to take some of the other blue. Now I'm not going to go too nuts. Actually, I'm probably going to leave this because I still have smaller sequins I want to add into this area, so I'm actually going to leave that for now. Because I was also going to be taking some other colors and kind of working them in. Maybe get some of like these guys like in the action a little bit around. So, but there you go. That's Tulip paints. They're awesome. I love them. I highly recommend them. I really want to emphasize that please use them in small amounts. I know I've said that like 7 times, but people don't listen to me and then they put too much and then they make a mess and then things get ruined. So that's how you do that. Okay. Okay, so now so far as cutting into your actual fluke, you're going to want to open it just to make sure. If yours is already lined up, don't open it again. I'm just trying to really make sure mine's actually lined up. I just feel like you are not cooperating with me today. It's a bit of a process, you guys. This is really a labor of love. People wonder why I don't make tails for sale, and then they try and make them themselves, and then they're like, oh, I see what you did there. So. Okay. You're gonna want to have a decent pair of scissors. Please, please, please. If you got nice sewing shears, please don't use those. Especially if they were a gift from just don't do them. You're gonna ruin them if you use them on this kind of plastic. I'm going to find you and be mad at you. So use other sharp, they can be just kitchen scissors that you should probably not also use with food. Just designate a pair of good scissors for this specifically, because you're gonna need to cut through 2 layers at the same time. So I'm going to be going for a look similar to this, obviously not quite so nuts, because this one went a little bit overboard with this, but I'm just going to all the way around. And remember, if you aren't entirely sure what you want to start, just do a little bit, because then you can take a second look at it, decide if you like it, and if you need to line things back up again, that's fine. But you can always take away, God, look at all that glue, hey? Ugh. You can always cut into it more, but you can't, like, it, you know, once it's cut, basically. So, so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna all the way around, and yeah, here we go. Okay, so I may choose to take it down a little bit lower. For now, I'm going to leave it because I'm actually kind of happy with how that turned out. I think it looks kind of subtle, but it's still there. Because I really liked how Goldfish, I'm pointing, but you can't see where I'm pointing, how Goldfish's fluke turned out. So this just has a little bit of paying a little bit of sort of homage to my old tail while keeping it a little bit more of a form. So that's the thing. After I finish gluing down the rest of my sequins, I might also choose to take it a little bit further, but we'll see. Okay, so this is what this looks like. Nice and subtle, just a little bit of breakage there, more that you'll see it when the tail's actually moving. Just a little bit. So I might add some more because that's what Miranda, the first one, has. This is still going to all get sequins, but of course, because I'm filming this in the same day as the sequin video, it's still just a work in progress. So this is where I got to so far. Those are the extra dots. They will shrink and they will get darker as they dry, so that's part of the fun. So now I will continue on with this all the way up. I just wanted to show you guys where I was at and see the little bit more of that sparkle that you can see how that shows up quite nice. I'm pretty excited for this tail. Well, I can't believe this is my last video for this tail. This is kind of wow, I can't really believe it. I would like to take a second to thank all you guys who have been following along and leaving comments and asking questions and supporting me and subscribing for all the videos. You guys have been really awesome. I'm really glad that I decided to make this a public thing rather than a membership only thing, because this has been a lot more fun interacting with more people, getting more information out there, and I kind of feel like, yes, some of these are my like trade secrets. I do feel like this is knowledge that I came across on my own that I feel like it's nice to share. It's nice to share. This is creative. You know what? We all do things a little bit differently, and that's kind of the magic, but I'm hoping that with these videos I've helped you fulfill some of your mermaid dreams to make your own tail and that kind of thing, because it's part of the fun for me of calling myself a mermaid, is actually putting my heart and soul into a project like this. It's pretty cool. So I also want to say a huge thank you to my patrons on Patreon, who are the sort of the guiding force behind me being able to actually doing this and funding me and being able to help me with all of this, the creation process and giving me the feedback that I needed to keep going. And you guys are kind of my heroes. You're my patrons, man. You're awesome. So I really appreciate that. This has been a really cool experience. It was a little stressful at times, but it's been a lot of fun. It's been really good. So once this tale's done, I will do a follow-up video to show you guys what it actually looks like, fully completed. Don't forget, I've actually got a few other fun things coming down the way. So I'm excited. Some holiday-themed stuff. Actually, I have a whole list of Mermaid School things now that this big project, because this is the biggest question that I get, is how to make these tales. So I wanted to get this one out first. Just because that way it's there, and then I can move on to some other kind of cool spandex tails, mermaid tops, accessories, other fun things. Yeah, so for sure, if you have any questions about anything that I covered today, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Don't forget to check out mermaidschool.ca, where I'm actually keeping all of the other videos. I still have to give it a really big update. Hopefully by the time this video comes out, I've done that. But I have a lot of other videos and swimming tutorials and things all posted up there, just so that it was in more of one collective thing. I also have a playlist on my channel with all of my Mermaid School videos, so you can find that as well. Also, don't forget, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, because I do have a lot more mermaid fun and projects and things coming up. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon, so that if you have questions of your own that you cannot figure out how to deal with, and you want a little bit of one-on-one time with me, so I can actually look at your specific problem and give you, instead of generic answers, I can actually get a little more in-depth. There's a sequin popping up. What's going on here? Okay. Give you more in-depth answers and that kind of thing. Also, I do also, on Mondays, I do my weekly vlogs. On Wednesdays, of course, as you know, Mermaid School videos. And on Fridays, I'm trying every once in a while to do something fun on Fridays. Hopefully that's still going. Fridays are kind of like my optional. If I think of something cool to post, then I'll post kind of a day. But you could definitely rely on my Monday and Wednesday videos. And again, thank you so much for watching and following along on this adventure, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Okay, bye!